Hello, I am Mike of Neil Up Dice. This is the Kerbal Space Program. I am trying a new thing. Specifically, what I'm trying. So I'm just going to change a few things to show what I'm doing. I have found a thing upon the interwebs, KSP Trajectory Optimisation Tool, which actually uses MATLAB, which is a very highfalutin science maths thing. It's all very clever. Ooh, that's interesting. But I'm not using this bit of it. This is essentially doing the same as this thing here. So I set up where I want to go, where I want to start, where I want to go, and it plots, and it gives me, this is going to take a ton of delta V. Yeah. Okay. 4,000. That's interesting. Yeah. Anyway, ton of delta V. Now, what I actually want to use is this thing here, which is the multi-flyby window. That's interesting. Well, I'm just going to very quickly. I've been having some issues, and part of it is not knowing whether the UTC is the same. There's a bunch of things I don't quite understand about how this works. I've just said get the UT from KSP, and that's given a completely different value to what happens if I ask it to give me a time. That's really weird. Oh, that's interesting. There's also the weird going on. Arg. Right, anyway, ignore that. All times are in Earth units. That explains a few things. So that's year 4, as opposed to Kerbal thinks it's year 12. That does explain a few things. Okay, so I'm going to give it so basically it's going to start from now and try and search for a launch window between, within the next year. I'm going to change that actually. Let's go for so between year now, which is year 4, and year 10, it's going to search for a multiple flyby going from Kerbal to Eve to Moho. And this is the calculation window, and I don't know how long this is going to take. I have had it take several minutes. I've had it take only a couple of minutes. So in theory, what it is going to generate is well, I mean, you can see this is a previous one, but I'm not sure it was in the actual right date. Maybe I need to check if I mean, I don't understand this program, and I haven't found the documentation for using the multi-flyby thing. I'm just pressing buttons and seeing what seems to work. So I know I can do things like I can get the orbit from KSP active vessel, and that is what the orbit is at the minute of this vessel. I maybe wanted to do that before I clicked compute flyby maneuver sequence. Yeah, I think that. So I may have to do that again. And I don't know how long it's going to take. So there's that taking its own sweet time, and it's calculating various things. And I've had it give me, instead of the amount of delta V that this pork chop thing here thinks I'm going to take, which is a total about that's nearly 5,000, right? Oh, you didn't even see that because it's underneath. I'll move it over here. There you go. So that's like a delta V, total delta V of nearly 5,000. I've had it as low as 1,200 or so delta V because I'm using Eve as a slingshot. As you can see, kind of from this, the idea is you leave Kerbal and then you get flung around Eve, and I believe I can go look at this is the Kerbal departure orbit, right? So that's where I'd be jetting from, and the Eve flyby orbits, I go whoosh right past Eve. Hopefully not air braking or anything, because that would actually break everything. But in theory, this is, and so you go right past Eve, and then you slingshot around Eve and get it, and that would send down to Moho for, oh, there we go, right, so something's happening. So I'm getting this now, searching for a departure orbit. Okay, so I now have my my information. So this tells me what the orbit. So this is what it now is telling me what my orbit is going to be. It's different from the last one. It's just whether I've had a few goes at this, and it's been a bit of a learning experience here. So here are my burn information from to Park Kerbal. Total delta V 1172. And a small one around Eve of 319 prograde. Question is, are these UTC values going to be the correct UTC values? And that is an interesting question. So, add a maneuver. And move precise node down here so you can actually see it. Now, what happens if I copy and paste this? So this is allegedly the Kerbal departure date. Oop. Okay, so I put in the delta V that comes with this, and that is 1147.947, because I'm absolutely certain those decimal points are going to be important. The normal is going to be minus 234.286. And the radial is 0.085, allegedly anyway. Whoop, that's not what I wanted to do. Right, it's doing something. Certainly doesn't think I'm getting an encounter with Eve. And the node is in 10 years from now. Trying to work out if that's right. because it currently thinks it's year 4 instead of year 12, which is what Kerbal Alarm Clock thinks it is. So this year 7 maybe that's about right, because that's 3 years away according to this, which is about 10 years away. Maybe that's about right. I'm not sure. Let's set that as a target. But according to this, I'm not getting my flyby at all. So this is actually not really helping me. Okay, so that's not... So I thought I was going to get an interesting tool that would be very useful to me. But it looks like perhaps not. Right, so that's where I'm going to be leaving. I'm going to be leaving from about there. I'll just see if I can get this to match up vaguely with this information here. So Kerbal's going to be down the bottom. Where is that? Trying to get it to, because I put my mouse over the this escape there. You can see it. Well, no, actually, you probably can't see it because it's underneath the. I get a little indicator. I can actually see where the ship's going to be but unfortunately, I think it is. Let's turn that off. Let's turn it off. You can see there's a little thing lighting up showing me where Kerbal is going to be on its escape. So I want that towards the bottom because that's where it is on the diagram that I've got. It does look very vaguely like. But not only very vaguely. So I don't know if I'm heading the right direction or the right time or anything. I'm just mildly disappointed. There might be things I'm not understanding about how this tool works. Maybe there are things I need to do after I've done this to translate these maneuvers into Kerbal Space Program. Because just as I'm capable of doing a right click here and saying get orbit from KSP, active vessel, boink, and there you go. That is that orbit. Maybe I need to do other things. Can I then put that orbit back into Kerbal Space Program once it's worked out the full orbit? So maybe, and the other possibility is that I had an old orbit in there which had different numbers in it, and so maybe it was going off wrong information, and that's why I'm not getting anything useful. Now, last time this actually went quite quickly, but it could go very slowly this time. So what I'm going to do is going to let it run, and I'm going to get back to it when it's finished doing this. Right, I've got a new thing. It's a bit weird. I'm going to be mostly heading down. Still trying to work out if it makes any sense at all. It says this will be in 18 years, and I'm not sure if that's right. Oh, I have the faintest clue what's going on. Well, let's add in that final radial and see if that fixes it. I may have to give up on this because it seemed like the exact thing I was going to need. Why do I keep doing that? 3, 6, not 6, 3. Well, that would appear to be not going near Eve at all. So that looks about right. That's not helping me. So I do seem to be heading off like that, but I don't appear to be coming anywhere near Eve, which is obviously the intention. Leaving at the time that this says I should be leaving at. One possibility is what I need to do is go to my settings, and it might not be in here actually, but there's a gameplay setting where you set everything to real-time units instead of Kerbal units, and maybe that's what I need to do. And so maybe that is something I need to explore. But this is where I've gotten to at the minute, where it looks like I might be able to create a multiple flyby to get to Eve and then from Eve to Moho, but I do not currently have the capability to do so. Something about the way this works is escaping me. And I'm not going to try and get science because I'm going to be reverting to I'm going to be reverting very soon. My burn true anomaly. Wait. Let's back up again. Let's have a quick thing of bring up hyper edits. My orbit editor. Bring that down here. There. My burn true anomaly is 192.924. Oh no, I was kind of hoping that I'd have the ability to add my mean anomaly in here. So that would have been really handy. But no. I can change my mean anomaly at epoch 0. That's not helping me. Nuts. Herg. Because I can set my mean anomaly just graphically like this. But that doesn't tell... Oh, hang on. Do I have my mean anomaly in here? My mean anomaly, my mean, cruel, horrible anomaly. Because I want to know what 192 mean anomaly looks like. Wow, that makes no sense whatsoever. I have a sneaking suspicion that's in radians and not... That's in radians. Oh, you pain in the bottom. Not finding anything out. So anyway, today has been a failure. I have failed to do anything. I may need to, if I go back maybe and change my settings so that I use real world units and not Kerbal units in terms of time, maybe this will work. I think that might be the problem. But there are other, yeah, so I'm not, there are things like I suspect that because I don't know how to do this, and because this is not set up the way I think it is, what that means is that this, I have not, the time that KSP Trajectory Optimisation Tool thinks it is not the time that Kerbal thinks it is, and therefore I'm not in the right time and I'm not in the right place. So I am therefore not going to be able to get the correct, I don't want to be here, I'm not going to get the correct orbit. So anyway, with that slightly dejected on that slightly dejecting note, I'm going to say thanks very much for watching. Do hit like and subscribe. I'm just pressing buttons randomly. Feel free to visit nearlyenough at nearlyenough.com. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. And until next time, reach for the stars and try and understand your tools.